Hi, my name's Amelia, and today we're going to be looking at Photoshop animation. So, just to begin with, I went and selected my Create New button, which took me to my New Documents panel, and I've gone all the way along to Film and Video. Before we get going, I want to have a really brief conversation about these presets and what you're seeing and reading. For anyone who's done illustrations for print, they will know that you work in 300 dpi to the scale that you want to print at. So for example, if I just even jump into the photo, we can see here that there's 3 by 2 inches at 300 ppi. In fact, that wasn't the greatest example, because actually when you print, you're working in dpi, which is dots per inch. When you are working digitally, it's ppi, pixels per inch. A little thing you may have noticed immediately is that all the resolutions here on each preset is 72 ppi, because a general monitor can only give you 70 to 100 ppi as a resolution. So where does the quality come in? So similar to when you're printing to scale, it is the scale, in this case our pixel dimension, that holds the quality. So our general HD TV is 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. If you wanted anything at a higher quality, if we look down here at Film 2K, we can see that the dimensions for this film or animation is double the pixel dimensions. So just be mindful when you are picking your project, whether you are using, if you are building an animation for web or for a GIF for your social media, or whether this is going to be projected. You might want higher dimension and for a better quality if you're going to project onto a larger space. But for today, I'm just going to use this HD TV mode. Also, having just said the word mode, color modes, you might know when you're printing you're using CMYK, because those are the 4 inks within a printer. However, for screens and digital artwork, and even if you're just putting up some of your print work onto a website, you want to always put your work into RGB color mode. Super, so some of the more tedious stuff over, I'm going to hit create. I'm actually going to close this off so I can show you where to find it all, because it does not open up automatically. First things first, we've got some guides on this page. So these are these blue lines. These guides are our text safe zones. So if you are creating any kind of credits or text in your animation, you might want to keep them up. At the moment you can move them, so I'll just show you briefly how to lock them and how to get rid of them. So on the top menu bar, if you pick up view and drop all the way to the bottom, I can lock my guides or I can clear off my guides, like I'm going to today. Then we want to get a timeline in place. So a few different options you have here. If you go to Window and Workspace, you could pick up a Motion Workspace, which is going to change all the settings that you have down on the right hand side. This doesn't mean that you can't pick up your brushes again or pick up your patterns or paths or colours, whatever it is that you like using. It just means that it will disappear momentarily. You could pick up Motion, add all the stuff that you like using and create a new workspace, or like myself, because I just like to have all my Painterly stuff there available, I just go to the bottom of Window and pick up Timeline. And again, it's presetted to what I usually use, but yours will pop up like so. Then, so you can use a video timeline in Photoshop. However, I don't recommend it or use it myself, because I find After Effects is a much better tool for video timeline and keyframe animation. So I'm going to use the drop down arrow and I'm going to create frame animation. Then I'm going to use this where it says frame animation as a button by clicking it, and then I'll get my first frame in place. So a little bit about the timeline. This is a frame. Underneath is the time signature of that frame. So at the moment it's got 0 seconds, it's no delay. Beneath that is a button for my video timeline. I can convert at any point and convert back if I wanted to. These are my looping options. At the moment they're preset at forever. If I use the arrow I can do once, 3 times, or I can even pick one suited for myself. I tend to go for once or 3 times when I'm hand drawing or traditional animation, because your eye is very quick to get used to what it's seeing and viewing, and will fill in gaps that your audience may notice. Pardon me. Then you've got back to the beginning, back 1 frame, play, forward 1 frame, tweening, new frame, and delete frame. And just notice how your new frame and delete frame are identical to your new layer and delete layers. However, these 2 buttons talk to either the timeline or to the layers panel depending where you use them. On the far end you have a pre-flight menu which has all the same options and a few extras that we will go through as we learn about Photoshop animation. So, today I just wanted to do a really simple texture animation where we focus more about the relationship between frames and layers. So I'm just going to open up my Finder where I have 5 textures ready. I'm just going to drop them in. Get them all placed. And then I'm going to hold Shift and select all of those layers and just make them as big as the screen. That'll do. So at the moment, all you can see is the very top layer. All we can see is texture 14. We can see that in frame 1. How frames and layers talk to one another is this indicates layer visibility or the eye thumbnail. So as I turn off each of the layers' eye or deactivate them, I'm left with whichever layer is underneath. So here I've got layer 1 or texture 005 and it's shown currently in my frame 1. I know 0 seconds is incredibly fast, so I'm just going to use the drop down menu to pick up 0.2. And then I'm going to make a new frame, which is actually going to be a duplicate of frame 1. In order for an animation to happen between frame 1 and frame 2, I need to select frame 2. I'm going to switch off texture 005 and I'm going to pick up the next texture. If I press play or spacebar, we'll see them flick between those 2 frames. So I'm just going to repeat that process, going to make a new frame, which is a duplicate of frame 2, turn off texture 007 and pick up texture 008. And I will keep doing that until each layer exists on its own frame. So now when I go to frame 1 and press play, they flick between, creating a flipbook-like animation of textures. So that's a really simple breakdown of how layers connect to frames. If you want to continue learning about Photoshop animation, please move on to the next video. If you want to export what you have done, jump to the end video where I talk about exporting GIFs and exporting MP4 files.